Hi friends, welcome to Mind Broker. Today I'll tell you something about happiness, how to create happiness. Like there are many Eastern philosophies regarding happiness, and these are taught by our religious gurus. If you go on YouTube, you will find 10,000 channels telling you what to eat, how to get serotonin. Serotonin is it is called happy hormone. It is kind of not kind of, it is a neurotransmitter that is secreted in the brain, and we become happy. But that is the chemical part of psychology or chemical part of our brain we are talking about. Other than that, before we approach, we will see today whether we can find out any model for happiness, right? So, model for happiness, how to be happy. Before that, I just want to share what I heard yesterday. It was so soul stirring that I felt I should share this philosophy with you. The first philosophy is definitely, we are born out of love. So, love is the center of all our emotion, which is true. We are all born out of love, and love is the center for every emotion. Like if you get angry at someone, it is because you want something specific from him, because you love him and you don't get it, so you get angry, you get jealous, you get disappointed. These are all emotions, right? You get happy, you feel happy rather. So all these, behind every emotion, love is the soul force. So love is center of every emotion. So beautifully explained. Okay. And definitely, uh, we always try to find something which is known, which is unknown. I mean, known to known. We are born out of love, so we try to find or search. There is always this search for love, whether it is in a family relationship, whether it is your peer friends group, whether in any other kind of relationship. Love is the basic, but love has also different forms, we all know. Like the way you love your friends, you don't love your parents like that, or the way you love your parents, you don't love your children like that. So love has different form, but they are all part of that central force that is called love. Okay. And because love is behind every emotion, one more thing I heard and I want to share with you, that most of the time we suffer from anxiety or depression. These are the most killer common things in today's world. People are full of anxiousness, they are suffering from depression. It is because we are constantly searching for perfection. Now, when perfection is again a very personal perspective. What is perfect for me may not be perfect for you. But individually, if we see from individual point of view, when we look for perfection, what definition of perfection is in my mind, I will always look for that. And if I find something or someone different from that definition, deviating from that definition, it becomes imperfect for me. And that is the source of all the anger, anxiety, depression, whatever you call it. So the thing is, a very beautiful analogy was given, an example was given. Like when milk is right, milk is there, milk is full of nutrition, we all like drinking milk. Now when milk is converted or curd is made from milk, curd is also equally valuable. It has its nutritional properties. When you make rabri from milk, rabri is also having its own taste, own sweetness. So, in any form, it is perfect. Is this concept of imperfect is only in our mind. Everything in whichever shape and form it is perfect. How beautiful. So when we understand, when we stop looking for perfection, automatically whatever is presented in front of us, we will accept it with wholeheartedness, and that will create the kind of love and happiness that we always search or look for. And the last point that came to my mind, listening to all this, is definitely happiness lies within, and we always hear this from all the motivational speakers will tell you the same thing. We keep hearing that happiness lies within us. We always look happiness in another person or thing, which is in the outside world, but actually it is false representation of happiness. Happiness lies within ourselves. Okay. So obviously serotonin, when we talk about this chemical psychology, this clinical psychology, not chemical, clinical psychology, we talk about these chemicals in our brain. So serotonin, so how to increase serotonin? You have to eat fish, you have to eat lots of eggs has that properties, tryptophan, I guess tryptophan, if I'm not wrong, I'll have to see, but tryptophan is that that creates or helps serotonin to secrete in our brain. So eggs has that properties. Even dry fruit. What will you do from tomorrow if your girlfriend gets angry with you? You'll buy a crate of eggs and present it to her, saying, yeah, I have got a crate of serotonin for you. So diet definitely has an impact on this, producing the secretion of these chemicals in our brain. As we know, whatever we eat, the nutrition is absorbed in the blood, right? And then it goes all over the body wherever it is required. It gets absorbed, the nutrition get absorbed. But as my research says that there is something called blood and brain barrier. So this actually does not let it absorb so easily. So just by eating this diet, having good diet, tryptophan rich diet, it won't get your serotonin level up. So what you often see these laughing clubs. You think these people are crazy, laughing ha 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 in the morning, but actually some of the practices, outside practices, apart from your internal chemical management, you can say hormonal management, you can say, which can be done through medicines, some actions can also create serotonin or improves your serotonin level in your brain. So this laughing club is also one such activity. When you are happy, you smile a lot, it's very easy to come back to life. I mean, depressing events keep happening in our lives. We fall into depression. Again, a normal person with normal psychological health will be able to come out from that depression, and will be in a within a short span of time will be able to live a normal life. When it doesn't happen, then obviously we need to see mindfully exactly what is happening in my life, what are the things I need to correct. So for that, now I am getting into that psychological part. These 5 elements will definitely help. There is a model that was developed in psychology. It was in positive psychology. In this theory, Martin Seligman, he first came up with this 5 component of happiness theory. This is called PERMA model. So just have a look at the picture, at the photo. So you'll see which 5 components are important to have a good, fulfilling, happy life. Have a look. Now, this is the PERMA model, and I will explain one by one each of the components. Now, P for positive emotion. Now, positive emotion means what? In one word, being optimistic. When you are optimistic towards your life, when you feel very positive regarding your, whatever experiences you have had all through your life regarding your past, present, and future. Okay, so you feel more happy, more fulfilling, you become more creative. Now, obviously, we know one thing. Generally, it is said that man's basic need is food, shelter, and clothing. इतने में ही होता तो क्या बात थी? But these three things comes from obviously from our livelihood, that is work. So good work environment that creates positivity. Second thing is that relationship, good, positive, constructive. So whatever, these are the two parts that if we feel positive regarding these two, so we feel we have more time for our creativity. Like you have seen children, playing with their Lego, this house making or whatever. Whenever they play with that, when they play with those blocks, and whenever they create something out of that blocks, the kind of satisfaction they have on their face. So that gives, that creativity gives that positivity in them, right? And this positivity also comes from definitely pleasure and enjoyment. Now, eating food, we love eating different types of food. That is a kind of pleasure activity. So food and pleasure and enjoyment, they are both required in our life. But enjoyment, remember, enjoyment should be constructive. Enjoyment can also be without peace. So we should always choose enjoyment with peace. You may get confused. What is enjoyment with peace and without peace? Whatever you do morally, we have this, back of the mind that moral guidance is always there. That is how we are conditioned and grow up in this society. So whatever goes morally correct, the activity or the enjoyment that we are pursuing, if it doesn't come against our morals, then generally get peace out of that. So enjoyment can be with peace or without peace. In today's time, we are seeing more enjoyment that generate peacelessness, but still they are enjoyable. So that is up to you. So this is basically positive emotion. Okay. And the second one, that is E for engagement. Now in our life, obviously, apart from what we do for earning, we need some kind of creative activities, that is engagement. Even if your job can be very engaging, if you enjoy your job, if you enjoy what you do, so finding that sense of pleasure in whatever you do, that is engagement. There are many people who loves to play sports or playing instruments, some kind of instruments, whatever. Even this YouTube videos that I make, it is my engagement. Time flies by when I make these videos for you. My motto gives me that energy that at least 2% of the people that I am reaching out to, they will be some way or the other be helped through these videos. So this is engagement, this creative act. So obviously whatever we do, when we are fully immersed into that, when we don't do anything, when we let ourselves sit idly without doing anything, that again creates that void, that sense of loss of purpose, you can say. So engagement, some kind of activities should always be pursued for every individual, whether it is money generating or not, it doesn't matter. You should always keep yourself busy and get that involvement, that pleasure out of that. That is engagement. And the third one is R for relationships. Obviously man is a social animal. We need, for our own survival, we need positive, constructive and healthy relationships. We need bond, we need friends, family, our own family, means spouse, children. So with them we have a strong emotional bond. We need emotional bond, physical interaction. All these things are of utmost importance in our lives. Okay. Now in the research, it has been found that there is a pain center in our brain. Okay, whenever there is a, kind of we feel isolated, that this pain center works as a fire alarm. It tells us, it sends a kind of painful feeling inside us that makes us look for people and relationship. So we get into relationship because we don't want to suffer from loneliness. So people generally, they have this, it is an inbuilt system in our body. We need relationships, but positive and healthy relationships. Now on this I have a case today, but I'll tell you about the case at the last of the video. Okay. The next one is M for meaning of life, right? So obviously, when we after satisfying our basic needs, that is food, shelter, then comes relationships, then comes self-esteem, respect in the society and all that. It is the Maslow's this hierarchy of needs. That theory is there if you have seen the pyramid. So in this pyramid we can see that all our lives, after doing all the proper billing, or in Brit's term maybe making pancakes, we actually realize the true potential of our life. In that, after satisfying all the worldly needs, one goes for self actualization. That is the higher purpose of life. So sometimes we lack this meaning. So this is also there is a very popular term called existential crisis. Like when a person keeps asking himself, why I am here on earth, what is my purpose of life. Religion and this spiritualism, they operate on this module only. It is a bit higher, it really doesn't satisfy your worldly need or the need that we have in the 3D. It talks about the higher purposes of life. So that higher purposes obviously comes when you have already settled your basic needs. They are satisfied, fulfilled, then only you go for that. So meaning of life, this existential crisis I was talking about, like it is said, Lord Buddha I'm talking. Lord Buddha had also felt at certain point in his life this existential crisis. Like there are two ways to go. Why I am here on this earth? So from there he became, a Raja's, king's son, became a saint, left for his nirvana and all that. So it starts from that. Too much of existential crisis can also create suicidal attitude or depression in you. So too much, this spiritualism or religious sects, I mean, one should get into all this, but should not get indulged into it too deeply, because it is not for everyone. If you start asking every day, if you feel that you are not, your life is not meeting the purpose, or you are not getting the ultimate meaning of your life, it may create a point of depression in your life as well. But in a smaller way, We need to find a meaning for our life, and it can be anything. Whatever you are doing, do it rightly, correctly, perfectly, as per your definition, not as per the definition of the world. Like raising your child is your goal, do it properly. Your job, you should give your 100% in that. Whatever you do, hobby, any kind of pursuit, that also creates happiness in you, right? Money, I mean, I have seen people, after a certain time, money cannot give you happiness. Money is, you need money to a great extent, in fact, to get all your worldly need fulfilled. But after that comes a point when you want to do something more, which is not exactly can be purchased with money. So that need, that is meaning of life. So one has to find the meaning. Some people are just okay without, that part of, they are happy in their worldly pursuits, so they get happiness out of that. Fine, even that is okay. And what is the last one in this PERMA, this model? A for accomplishment. Now, obviously, in our life, when we accomplish something, our achievements makes us proud, gives us, proudful moments. That also gives us a lot of happiness. So these are very worldly, apart from meaning of life. Okay, that is for the higher pursuits. This four components, they are very worldly, and how we can use this model in our life now comes. I have been counseling last last 1 month, and in these cases I have seen that most of the time people are either depressed or they are very anxious. They create their own depression, they may not realize it. So even in psychology, often we say that depression is something that is, we can avoid it, but somehow we get entangled into it. So depression is not my topic today. I'm just telling you from point of view of PERMA how to use this, how to create happiness with these 5 components. Now there was this case of a lady who had a, kind of difficult marriage, you can say, but she is not divorced, but she got into another relationship, and it's full-fledged relationship, mentally, spiritually, physically, in every way. And obviously after some time, that the other person also moved on with somebody else, and this lady is depressed. Okay, so it's a very common model nowadays. You find so many cases like this everywhere. Now obviously I just had the chance to talk to her, so she told me the whole story. The only point I found is that that amount of time she invested in the other person, pursuing this third party, if she had put a little bit of that into her own marriage, it could have been mended, and she could, give it a turn. But because of lack of awareness, so there is this theory, if I can, I will make a video next time. Awareness is freedom. Now why this PERMA? What was so new about this theory? Nothing. We already know these 5 components, but do we always keep them in mind when we are seeking happiness, when we are falling into depression, when we are anxious? Do we really use them? So this particular model, you can use them on your own, but otherwise you may need a help of a counselor who can apply this, make you see where your life is getting hampered. For example, if I talk about this lady, she is falling into depression for another person, and she was already depressed from her marriage, but the time that she has put in that, if she could do it for her family, a little bit of changes she could have seen in her family itself. So pleasure, I was talking, pleasure can be with enjoyment can be with peace and without peace. So whenever the time she has spent with that person, that was for that moment maybe it was enjoyable, but this kind of enjoyment are basically without peace. It's very momentary. It's it's transitory. It does not stay. So we should always invest in healthy relationships, constructive relationships. Otherwise, this meaning of life, achievement will get diminished, meaning of life will be lost, positive emotions becomes negative emotion, relationships are hampered, and engagement, it's a wrong kind of engagement she was into. So can you see how I am applying PERMA into this particular case? So all these 5 components are creating unhappiness in her life. That was my point. Every case can be put, into this arena of PERMA, and then we can see what are the things. So in your life, if you are having any kind of negative experiences, depression, anxiety, and so on, please use this 5 components, and in this model, just applying this model in your life, see what are the things you do not have. Do you enjoy your work? Are you having good constructive relationships? Is there anything unhealthy in your life that is created a negative emotion in you or creating depression? Is something is stopping you from achieving your goal? What is the meaning of life? Are you really reaching it? Find it out yourself. And then the philosophy that I said, everything, in the center there is love. So try to come back to that center. One more thing I heard, like center, from in the center it is love, but we always go into the circumference of the circumference, right? Yeah, we are peripheral, it's very difficult to get to the center. So who finds his way to the center is the happiest. Simple. So most of the time we are in circular movement. We are going into a circle because we are very peripheral, or you can say you are going into that circumference all the time. That is life. Hope you liked my video today. I just loved it when I just saw this model and went through it. I'm doing a course right now, so I found this in my course, found it so good, so usable, that I wanted to share with you with that philosophy of life. Thank you so much. Please give me thumbs up. I'm trying very hard to get this channel going, reaching out to more and more people. My Facebook group and Facebook Messenger link is given in the drop box. If you want to join my group, I provide free therapies. Therapies cannot be given on YouTube, so I'm providing therapies over there. If you have any problem, or you can comment on this. If you can't join my group through this link, you can just comment on this video. I'll send you personally. Okay, so by joining my group on Facebook, or contacting me on Facebook Messenger, or even on my Insta handle, you can avail this therapies. Thank you so much. Do subscribe. That will help us a lot. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.